Today we're going to explore a topic that directly impacts our success in every area of life: effective communication. Drawing inspiration from Dale Carnegie's legendary work, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I'll share with you the fundamental principles of mastering the art of communication. Understanding others, the foundation of communication. If we want to succeed in communication, we must first accept this truth: people are driven by emotions, not logic. What happens when you criticize someone or tell them they've made a mistake? They become defensive. So what can we do instead? We must genuinely try to understand the person in front of us. Let's always remember this: every person we meet believes they are right. Even the most notorious criminals justify their actions to themselves. If they don't blame themselves, why would we expect them to accept our criticism? Here's a powerful example from Carnegie's book. Two-Gun Crowley, a dangerous criminal about to face the electric chair, said, "This is what I get for defending myself." Even at death's door, he saw himself as a victim, not a perpetrator. This shows us how deeply rooted our need for self-justification is. The first golden rule: never criticize, condemn, or complain. Criticism is futile because it puts people on the defensive and makes them strive to justify themselves. Criticism is dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, hurts their sense of importance, and arouses resentment. Let me share a story. Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers, wasn't always the diplomatic genius we remember today. In his youth, he was blunt and argumentative. But he learned a vital lesson that transformed his life: I will speak ill of no man, and speak all the good I know of everybody. This simple change in approach made Franklin one of the most influential and beloved figures in American history. He discovered that when we stop criticizing and start understanding, doors begin to open. Think about your own life for a moment. When was the last time criticism actually changed someone's behavior for the better? More often than not, it creates resentment and drives people further into their positions. Instead of criticism, try to understand why people do what they do. As the old saying goes, to know all is to forgive all. The second golden rule: give honest and sincere appreciation. There is only one way to get anybody to do anything: by making them want to do it. Remember, you can make someone do something at gunpoint, but that's coercion, not influence. The only way to truly influence people is by talking about what they want and showing them how to get it. What does everyone want? According to the great psychologist William James, the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. This desire for appreciation is what separates us from animals. We don't just want food and shelter. We want to feel important, valued, and recognized. Here's the difference between appreciation and flattery: appreciation is sincere and comes from the heart, while flattery is insincere and comes from the teeth. One is universally admired, the other is universally condemned. Let me tell you about Charles Schwab, who became the first person in business to earn $1 million a year working for someone else. What was his secret? According to Schwab himself, "I consider my ability to arouse enthusiasm among my people the greatest asset I possess, and the way to develop the best in a person is by appreciation and encouragement." Schwab would walk through his steel mills and notice workers doing things right. Instead of focusing on mistakes, he'd stop and genuinely thank them for their good work. This simple practice created loyalty and motivation that no amount of criticism ever could. Think about the people in your life right now. When was the last time you genuinely appreciated someone? Not just a casual thanks, but truly expressed gratitude for what they bring to your life. Your spouse, your colleague, the barista who makes your coffee, your children. Most of us are so focused on what we want that we forget to appreciate what we already have. Carnegie shares a powerful truth: every man I meet is my superior in some way. In that, I learn of him. If we approach every interaction with this mindset, appreciation becomes natural and authentic. The third golden rule: arouse in the other person an eager want. Most people spend their entire lives thinking about what they want. But successful communicators flip this equation. They think about what the other person wants. Carnegie tells the story of going fishing. When I go fishing, he says, I don't think about what I want. I think about what the fish want. I don't bait the hook with strawberries and cream, which I love. I bait it with worms, which fish love. This principle applies to every human interaction. If you want to persuade someone, talk about what they want, not what you want. Show them how they can get it, and they'll move heaven and earth to achieve it. Here's a practical example. Imagine you want your child to stop smoking. You could lecture them about what you want, a healthy child. But that won't work. Instead, talk about what they want. Maybe they want to be on the basketball team, and smoking will hurt their performance. Maybe they care about their appearance, and smoking causes premature aging. When you connect your message to their desires, communication becomes effortless. Henry Ford once said, if there is any one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own. Making people like you, the art of genuine interest. Now let's talk about making genuine connections with people. Carnegie discovered something remarkable. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Think about that. We spend so much energy trying to appear impressive, interesting, and important. But the truth is, people are primarily interested in themselves. They care about their own problems, their own dreams, their own challenges. The great psychologist Alfred Adler wrote, "It is the individual who is not interested in his fellow men who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others." So how do we show genuine interest? We ask questions. We listen, really listen, without planning our response. We remember details about people's lives. We follow up on conversations we had weeks ago. Carnegie shares the story of a man who attended a dinner party and spent the entire evening talking to a botanist about exotic plants. He barely said a word about himself. Weeks later, the botanist told the host that this man was the most interesting conversationalist he'd ever met. The irony? The man had hardly spoken at all. He'd simply been genuinely interested. The power of a smile. This might seem simple, but it's profound. Smile. Your smile is a messenger of your goodwill. It says, I like you. You make me happy. I'm glad to see you. A genuine smile cannot be faked. It must come from within. It's the kind of smile that warms hearts. An insincere smile, the kind that's only on your lips but doesn't reach your eyes, doesn't fool anyone. Carnegie tells us about a New York stockbroker who was naturally grouchy. He started each day frowning and rarely smiled at anyone. Then he decided to try smiling for just 1 week. The results shocked him. People responded differently. Business improved. His home life transformed. All because of a smile. William James, the Harvard psychologist, put it this way, action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together. Thus, the sovereign voluntary path to cheerfulness is to act and speak as if cheerfulness were already there. In other words, if you want to feel happy, act happy. If you smile, even when you don't feel like it, the very act of smiling will improve your mood and the mood of everyone around you. Remember names, the sweetest sound. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Remember names, and you've paid a subtle and effective compliment. Forget or misspell someone's name, and you've created an awkward disadvantage. Napoleon III, Emperor of France, prided himself on remembering the name of everyone he met, no matter how busy he was. If he didn't hear a name clearly, he'd say, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." If it was an unusual name, he'd ask, "How is it spelled?" The average person is more interested in their own name than in all the other names on earth put together. When you remember someone's name and use it, you're giving them a powerful sense of importance. Here's a practical technique: when you meet someone, really listen to their name. Repeat it immediately: "Nice to meet you, Sarah." Use it several times during the conversation. If you can, write it down after the meeting with a detail about the person. This simple practice will transform your relationships. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Easy to do. Not as easy as it sounds. Many of us are so eager to talk about ourselves that we interrupt, finish other people's sentences, or mentally compose our response while they're still speaking. But listening, truly listening, is one of the highest compliments you can pay someone. It says, "You matter. Your thoughts are valuable. I want to understand you." Carnegie shares the story of attending a dinner party where he spent hours listening to a speaker discuss their travels and experiences. At the end of the evening, the speaker told the host that Carnegie was a brilliant conversationalist, even though Carnegie had barely said anything. He had simply been an attentive listener. Many people fail in their attempts to make a good impression because they don't listen, they're just waiting for their turn to talk. Remember this: people who talk only about themselves think only about themselves. And people who think only about themselves are hopelessly uneducated, no matter how many degrees they have. To be interesting, be interested. Ask questions that other people will enjoy answering. Encourage them to talk about themselves and their accomplishments. Listen with genuine curiosity, and people will feel valued and understood. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. Theodore Roosevelt was known for his ability to connect with anyone. His secret? Before meeting someone, he would stay up late reading about topics he knew his guest was interested in. Whether it was cowboys, bird watching, or naval history, Roosevelt made sure he could talk intelligently about what mattered to them. This principle applies to all our relationships. If you want to connect with your teenager, learn about their music, their games, their world. If you want to build rapport with a colleague, understand their projects and challenges. If you want to deepen your marriage, engage with what excites your spouse. The point isn't to fake interest, that's transparent and insulting. The point is to genuinely expand your curiosity and meet people where they are. When you talk about what interests them, you show respect and create connection. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. The unvarnished truth is that almost all the people you meet feel themselves superior to you in some way. A sure way to their hearts is to let them realize in some subtle way that you recognize their importance and recognize it sincerely. Every human being you meet wants to feel important, wants to be complimented, wants to be appreciated. The difference between appreciation and flattery is simple but powerful: one is sincere, the other insincere. One comes from the heart, the other from the lips. One is universally admired, the other universally condemned. Emerson said, "Every man I meet is my superior in some way. In that, I learn of him." If that was true for Emerson, isn't it likely to be true for you and me? Here's a practical example. The next time you interact with a waiter, a janitor, a receptionist, or anyone in a service role, treat them with the same respect and importance you'd give to a CEO. Look them in the eye, use their name if you can, thank them genuinely for their work. You'll be amazed at how people respond when they feel truly valued. Carnegie reminds us of the golden rule, but with a twist: do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Think about how you want to be treated, with respect, appreciation, and genuine interest. Then treat others that way. Conclusion: the power of principle-centered communication. As we wrap up today's exploration of communication mastery, let's remember this fundamental truth: the techniques we've discussed aren't tricks or manipulations. They're principles rooted in genuine respect for other human beings. You can't use these principles cynically to manipulate people and expect long-term success. People can sense insincerity from a mile away. These principles work only when they come from a genuine place, when you truly care about others, when you authentically want to understand them, when you sincerely appreciate them. The greatest communicators in history, leaders, teachers, parents, friends, all share one thing in common: they make others feel valued, understood, and important. They've mastered the rare art of stepping outside themselves and seeing the world through another person's eyes. So here's my challenge to you: pick just one principle from today's video and practice it this week. Maybe it's smiling more genuinely. Maybe it's remembering and using people's names. Maybe it's listening without planning your response. Start small, but start sincerely. Remember Carnegie's words: you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. Communication isn't about being the most eloquent speaker or having the wittiest remarks. It's about making genuine human connections, understanding others, and helping people feel valued. Master these principles, and you'll transform not just your communication, but your entire life. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What principle resonated most with you? How will you apply these ideas in your daily life? Let's continue this conversation together. Until next time, keep connecting, keep growing, and keep making others feel important, because in doing so, you become truly important yourself.